Gorbachev comes to China, seeking to heal old wounds and neutralize America's strategic advantage in Asia. He is upstaged by striking students seeking to change the face of communism.
This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting tonight from Tiananmen Gate in Beijing, China. Good evening. This is where, 40 years ago, Mao Zedong stepped into the place previously reserved for emperors handing down their edicts and proclaimed the triumph of his communist revolution. Tiananmen Square is the heart of China. This is where most of the major confrontations of modern Chinese history have taken place, including the mass student demonstrations for democracy. Today, it is also the site of the first Soviet-Chinese summit in 30 years. The leaders of two huge nations groping with the realization that communism as they and we have known it hasn't worked. And with the question, what next? What now? Can communism change enough, fast enough to survive?
It was a watershed in the history of the world communist movement. The reconciliation of the two communist giants. The first Chinese-Soviet summit since 1959. But right from the start, it was overshadowed by events within China. At the last minute, Chinese leaders cut back welcoming ceremonies to quick hellos at the airport only, canceling plans for longer ones that were to have included a stop at Tiananmen Square downtown. They did that to avoid confrontation with thousands of hunger-striking students and more than 100,000 supporters, all pressing demands for a more democratic government and more freedom. And so Gorbachev accepted the stiff greetings of Chinese communist leaders on the airport tarmac, while those same leaders were being denounced in the square. Getting to the center of the square means passing through an ocean of students, bicycles, banners, loudspeakers, slogan chanting, singing, and applause. The mood is serious but not angry. Determination, not rage, is on the faces and in the voices. They defied a government order to be out of the square by the time Gorbachev arrived, and no one seemed afraid.
Why I should be afraid? I'm just a common student.
Their numbers, their solidarity, and the cause protected them against a crackdown.
The government will not and cannot make that decision to crack down on the student movement.
Do you agree
because
with that?
We have people behind us.
Police were around in force, but instead of breaking up the crowds, they broke into patriotic song, and the students sang back.
This is the Monument to Heroes in the middle of Tiananmen Square. Raisa and Mikhail Gorbachev were, according to the original schedule, supposed to lay a wreath here tomorrow. It isn't going to happen.
At a banquet tonight, Gorbachev delivered his summit theme. The feud between Chinese and Soviet communists is over, he said, admitting that Moscow was partly to blame for the old troubles. Underscoring the shakiness of China's party leadership, 84-year-old Deng Xiaoping was not even there tonight. He didn't see Gorbachev during the day either. He'll meet him tomorrow, he said. The fill-in host, President Yang Xiangkun, was non-committal, noting that Chinese-Soviet relations have traveled a tortuous course. Today, he said, we have hope for a new future. Hope that was echoed in Tiananmen Square by a young hunger striker for democracy. He says, I'm touched because my teachers and the principal of my school have come out to support the protest. This means all our pain and difficulties are not in vain. We're going to stick to it, right to the end. What the end will be, and when it will come, no one even tries to guess.
I'll be back in a moment with the other news of the day. And then we begin our special series of reports on two communist giants amid a revolution in the communist world. Gorbachev, China, and the new face of communism.
out and enjoying yourself. That's what life is all about. And it's easy when you have the best bladder control protection. Depend Undergarments has special layers of absorbency that won't bunch or sag, and elastic legs for a better fit. They're the best protection and the best way for you to get back into life. Hey!
Get back into life with Depend.
Today's Monday, coming off a rough weekend. Saturday, I painted the den and came up aching, so I took aspirin. Sunday, I cleaned the attic. More aches, more aspirin.
If you take aspirin more than once a week, make your aspirin tri-buffered bufferin. It's 100% aspirin, plus 3 buffers that help protect against stomach upset plain aspirin can cause.
I sure needed it this weekend.
Tri-buffered bufferin, in tablets and caplets. If you take aspirin more than once a week.
Thank you, Aaron. Okay, Josie, would you please read yours?
My summer vacation. We left for 2 weeks to go to Yellowstone. That was Saturday. Then Daddy's money got stolen and we had to come home. That was Sunday.
It could happen to you right here in the U.S., so don't carry cash. Carry American Express traveler's checks. Don't leave home without.
We've now moved inside Beijing's ancient Forbidden City. On this first day of President Gorbachev's visit to Beijing, the Kremlin was busy publicizing the pullout of more Soviet troops from parts of Mongolia that border on China. The Kremlin says that over the next 2 years, it will withdraw 5,000 tanks and 50,000 soldiers from Mongolia. In Washington, U.S. Secretary of State Baker chose to talk about the pullout and the Gorbachev visit here in a positive light.
Well, I don't think that we should be worried about his visit to China. I think, quite frankly, it could be healthy for world stability. I don't think it's unhealthy to see troops being withdrawn by either side from the Sino-Soviet border. I think that's a healthy development.
Secretary of State Baker in Washington. As the summit unfolds here in China, in Washington, President Bush officially came out today with his proposals for a crackdown on violent crime in the U.S. The president's package does not include a ban on rapid-fire semi-automatic assault weapons made in the USA. White House correspondent Wyatt Andrews has more on what Mr. Bush did and did not propose.
Standing behind rain-spattered, bulletproof glass at an emotional ceremony honoring policemen killed on duty, President Bush proposed a permanent ban on imports of assault rifles the government decides have no sporting purpose. But the president's proposal would not limit domestic assault rifles at all. Only the ammunition clips that go inside them.
One thing that we do know about these assault weapons is that they are invariably equipped with unjustifiably large magazines.
His proposal would ban any gun clip or magazine that holds more than 15 bullets. Many assault clips now hold more than 30. The White House says the move would limit the firepower of criminals but protect the sportsman's right to own a semi-automatic. Critics say the proposal leaves U.S. manufacturers free to continue producing assault weapons and to pick up where foreign gun makers leave off.
These weapons are fairly easy to assemble, so-called manufacture, and I'm sure that other people will crop up and start making them, as they do now.
United States Marshal. The rest of Mr. Bush's crime package focuses on law enforcement and new prisons. He would add 825 new federal officers, U.S. Marshals, FBI, and firearms agents. He wants 1,600 new prosecutors, longer minimum sentences for crimes with a gun, and tougher plea bargaining rules. Mr. Bush also wants $1.5 billion worth of new federal prison cells, 24,000 spaces, an increase of almost 80%.
We're going to take back the streets by taking criminals off the streets.
Surprisingly, gun control advocates who still want tough controls on all assault rifles today said they were encouraged. For the president to support gun control of any kind, they said, was a conversion. Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, the White House.
2 separate U.S. Supreme Court rulings today gave prison officials expanded powers, broader powers to limit what inmates may read and to limit who may be allowed to visit inmates. New moves in Washington today to force U.S. apple growers to end all use of the chemical treatment Alar, and new questions about the scientific advisory panel that said it found no need to ban that chemical. CBS News correspondent Deborah Potter has the latest on the apple chemical controversy.
Despite a government promise to clean up the U.S. apple crop by next year, Congress and consumer groups pressed today for immediate action to ban the cancer-causing chemical Alar, either by legislation or by court order.
We are compelled to file a lawsuit against EPA for its failure to immediately suspend, to ban as of today, Alar in our food.
What I think we need is some swift, decisive action to restore confidence in the consumer and the marketplace.
But administration officials told a Senate committee that by moving to take Alar off the market, they've done all they can under current law.
I do not think it's good public policy for Congress to be enacting chemical-by-chemical specific legislation. You continue to treat symptoms, but won't seem to get to the root of the problem.
The real problem, according to outside scientists, is that the system designed to regulate pesticides just doesn't work.
Banning Alar is not going to solve the pesticide food safety problem. It's not just Alar, it's a statute that allows this situation to go on and on and on.
Underscoring that charge, reports that two independent scientists who advised the government 4 years ago not to ban Alar went to work for the company that makes the chemical. Senators today asked for an investigation, saying that kind of revolving door is a menace to public health. Deborah Potter, CBS News on Capitol Hill.
Recalled U.S. Ambassador Arthur Davis returned home today from Panama. In a parting shot, Davis charged that dictator Manuel Noriega actually ordered last week's attack on opposition candidates. He charged the attack was designed to kill candidate Guillermo "Billy" Ford, who was badly beaten.
You don't put a gun into the side of an automobile and fire at the people in it unless you're planning to kill somebody. And they did.
Los Angeles teachers today went on strike for the first time in 19 years, threatening confusion for almost 600,000 students in the final 5 weeks of the school year. The Los Angeles teachers are demanding a 21% pay hike over 2 years and more control over classrooms.
Do you ever get the feeling something's lurking out there? Be prepared with new faster-killing Black Flag anti-roach spray. It kills roaches on contact with its exterminator-proven ingredient, and it keeps killing more roaches for up to 2 weeks. Don't be afraid to turn on the light. Kill them, and kill them fast.
Charge it. We interrupt this vacation for a reminder. Discover Card is the way to go.
I'll charge it.
So choose the card that actually pays you cash back for every charge. The Discover Card.
Fabulous.
It pays to discover the card that pays you back.
Why waste time with slow-working oven cleaners?
Make it easy on yourself.
Original heavy-duty Easy Off oven cleaner works up to 40% faster than those other brands.
Make it easy on yourself.
With Easy Off.
For me, Naturally Good Sunsweet Pitted Prunes are a great fit. The only place they haven't fit is my purse. But now, there's the Sunsweet Snack Pack. For lunch bags, travel bags, handbags. Sunsweet Snack Packs are the perfect fit.
For 500 years, this forbidden city was home to the emperors of China. It was considered the cosmic center of the universe, the emperors, sons of heaven, carrying out the mandate of heaven. Today, the palace is a museum open to the public. The mandate has been taken over by the communists. But now, suddenly, they are being shoved out of the cosmic center. The students began their challenges to the authorities and to the party. And what they did today in Tiananmen Square captured as much attention as the biggest summit meeting in the communist world for 30 years. Bruce Morton profiles the new sons and daughters of heaven, the students who would change the face of communism.
Ji Chung, sophomore, political science major at Beijing University, marches with his friends.
Do you think the student movement will have an effect, will make the government better?
Yeah, I think so.
But better how? In the Soviet Union, political change has come from the top, from Mikhail Gorbachev. Here it comes from the students, from the bottom up. What do they want? They want some changes in their own lives first.
It is quite hard to do our work because there are so many people in this tiny dorm.
Will Kin, junior business major, shares this narrow room with 5 other students in double-decker bunks. One table, rice bowls, clothes, laundry and garbage in the hallway, which smells of urine. The dining hall is another symptom of underfunded education. Bring your own bowl, eat in, or, if you don't like the smell, and many don't, carry out.
The food is not good. It's quite bad, I think.
A more serious problem. The system is rigid. Magro is a third-year chemistry student. She chose chemistry back in high school, would like to change majors, but cannot. She may spend her working life assigned to a job she doesn't like.
The problem of Chinese education system is it just decide, your life, your whole life by one exam. That means a college entrance examination.
And one more thing. Education, students say, gets no respect. This man, who doesn't want his name used, graduated from college in 1983, major computer software. He sells clothes on the street, makes 4 or 5 times what a professor would, and can cheat on taxes, too. Students who come to this park to practice English say that's common.
The most important thing is to tell the society to pay attention to education.
Nowadays people thinking the education, the knowledge is useless for the people.
G worries that party cadres' children will get all the good jobs. Others say they may not be allowed to use their skills.
There is a big waste of knowledge.
In my mother's work unit, some graduates, they know how to operate a computer, but the top leader don't allow them to do so.
So the students want reforms in education, and they want this society where taxi drivers are the new rich to value knowledge more than it does. They think their country's future depends on that. To do it, they have to get the government's attention, so they want the news media to be free to report what they say. A free press can urge educational reforms, can attack corruption, can open up a government the students say is closed. They are doing, they point out, what they have the right to do.
Because according to the Constitution, we have the right of assembly and freedom of speech. Yeah, and sometimes we can go out and strike.
So we want to more young people to become the part of the politics.
Lincoln said the government is by the people, of the people, and for the people. Yeah, that's very right, I think, in China.
The other thing the students talk about is democracy, but they are not calling for the prompt overthrow of the system or for free elections tomorrow.
But in China, we should have our own democracy. And this kind of a democracy should be rooted on our culture.
They know it will not be easy.
Students should be the pioneer of democracy, and they will try to push it.
We must be patient. At the same time, we must, fight.
They have fought so far, gently and politely. But they really do want change. Bruce Morton, CBS News, Beijing.
Coming up next, Charles Kuralt joins me here for the story of one man who would change the face of communism.
You're on your way.
Who would have figured it? I grow up in the city and end up testing products for the farm. Like this one from Dow. We study its effects in the classroom and check the results in the field. It yields more food, more profits for family farmers, and greater groundwater protection. But Dow gave me a grant to find out how to make it work even better. You know, I like being a city kid working in a cornfield.
Dow lets you do great things.
It was Dean Witter's personal philosophy of success.
We have a sacred trust to protect our customers.
But its impact was felt on California Street,
To maintain conservative policies.
on Lincoln Street, and Acorn Street.
To put the interest of our clients first.
Dean Witter put principles before profit, people before portfolios. There are many ways to measure success on Wall Street.
We measure success one investor at a time.
Dean Witter, a member of the Sears Financial Network.
With low back pain, every step shoots pain. Up here. Know what helps?
Clinically proven Back Guard, a shoe insert. Watch how it absorbs foot shock to relieve low back pain.
Amazing. Something down here can help up here.
Back Guard from Dr. Scholl's.
Denture Wares. It's the fresh mouth with fresh news. New super strength collagen now controls tartar for a better clean and freshens up dentures with a minty mouthwash ingredient. Try new Polident Green, a better mouth freshening clean. Ah.
With me now here inside the Forbidden City is my colleague Charles Carroll. Charles, Mikhail and Raisa Gorbachev later in the week will be coming to see the splendor where the ancient emperors ruled China with their armies of bureaucrats and servants. But as is so often the case with these formal summits, they won't be seeing much of how the ordinary Chinese live.
No, it's well to remember that for most of the people of this country, anything that happens in the cities might as well be happening on the moon. 800 million Chinese are peasants, and many of the grand schemes of the big city Communist Party planners have come to grief out there in the villages. Plum Valley is only 50 miles from Beijing, but for centuries people here have worked on the land, more or less in misery. In the 60s and 70s, the fanatical days of the Cultural Revolution, an army of young zealots from the cities descended on places like this to impose Mao Zedong's blueprint for the improvement of man. One of them was an 18-year-old named Wu Se. Here I am in my Red Guard armband, he says. I wanted to create a rural utopia. I asked to go to the poorest region. The region they sent him to was Plum Valley. Wu Se, who is now a 32-year-old newspaper reporter, went back to Plum Valley this month to look up some of the peasants he commanded like a tyrant for 3 years in the 1970s. Liu Jianfen was a peasant girl who loved him from a distance. She's married to someone else and has 2 children. You worked us very hard, 16 hours a day, she remembers. I had to make you work, he says, but I feel remorseful about some of the things I did. We asked her, in those days, did you ever criticize Wu Se behind his back? Oh no, she says, I really liked him. He was so leftist. The sign on the wall once said, "Long live the thoughts of Chairman Mao." But the thoughts of Mao Zedong have faded here, like the sign. The communal land where Wu Se forced the people to work so hard has been divided up into family plots. Even back then, I saw that in their own little gardens, the soil was well kept and the plants grew beautifully. I remember thinking, if only they worked that way in the common fields. I didn't dare think further. When Deng Xiaoping abandoned the idea of common fields, he made happen what I didn't dare to think. For 3 years of his life, Wu Se, the young idealist from the city, put all his heart and might into trying to teach the peasants. In the end, they taught him. I was asking the people here to be saints, but this was against human nature. When I received word that I had passed my exams and could leave here for college, I didn't let the villagers see my emotion, but I walked to the end of the village and then ran to the top of the mountain, leaping with joy. These are my friends who went from the city into the country. This one is in West Germany now. This one is teaching college. Not one of us is still in the countryside. Wusa has not abandoned his idealism. When journalists marched in the streets of Beijing the other day for greater press freedom, in the front of the march, carrying one end of the banner, there he was. At work at his newspaper, Wusa thinks about Plum Valley sometimes. It is the place where the party line and his own illusions were shattered by ancient peasant reality. When we asked Liu Jianfen what she hoped for in life, she answered, just for enough to eat and drink, just that things don't get worse. Plum Valley hasn't changed much. But Wusa has changed. When he was young, he thought enforcement of rules handed down from Beijing was China's shining hope. He thought that human beings were perfectible according to a Communist Party plan, which is what he was told to think. Now he thinks for himself. Perhaps that is China's shining hope.
And that's tonight's CBS Evening News from China. We'll be here over the next 4 days, reporting on the new wind from the east, the new efforts of the Russians and the Chinese to carve out the new face of communism. Until tomorrow, Dan Rather. Good night.
Now's the time to get out and go. Hit the great American road. Get up, get over, get smart. Your Buick dealer is the place to start. Now's the time, now's the time. Hit the road, hit the road. The great American road. 'Cause the great American road belongs to Buick.
Norman, what's that?
Nothing, honey.
I asked a simple question.
Norman, are you eating something?
It's nothing, honey.
He lies like a dog.
Kellogg's Nut and Honey Crunch. Crisp golden flakes glazed with sweet honey and real roasted peanuts.
Irene, what's that you're playing?
Nut and honey.
Two can play this little game.
Kellogg's Nut and Honey Crunch.
Just this much Cortaid heals more kinds of itches and rashes than all of these. Because Cortaid has a clinically proven healing medicine they don't have. That's why Cortaid is the itch aid.
Anywhere in the world you can dial direct.
London Market is closing.
You can dial with MCI Worldwide Direct Dialing. Now there's no reason in the world to dial with anyone else.
All right, let's buy.
MCI, we are the better long-distance company.
I'm Harry Smith.
And I'm Kathleen Sullivan. Tomorrow, continuing coverage of Mikhail Gorbachev's visit to China.
Also, Jeff Goldblum joins us on CBS This Morning.
This is CBS.